My name is Shemique Blair, and I'm the author of a poetry anthology called Love, Marriage, Divorce, and Growth. And a little bit about my background. I'm Canadian Jamaican. By day, I'm an educator, so I work with young people to help them fulfill their full potential and achieve their full potential. And I'm also a writer. I love writing poetry. So this is my first published work, and I'm going to talk a bit about the process, some tips for anyone who wants to go into writing, and a bit about my process for writing. And then, of course, read a bit of poetry as well. And I'll give you guys a little bit of a story behind the book. So what is my process for writing? I have a really simple process. I've always written poetry. So anything that inspires me, I make sure that I clear a bit of my time each day just to jot notes and to write in a journal. And that's how my poetry flows. So if you're a writer, I would say don't get stuck on a big idea. Just allow the writing to come. Oftentimes, writers like to edit while they're writing, and I would encourage you not to edit. Just keep writing. And again, I can be inspired by anything. I think the title of this book basically hints to what the inspiration was for my first poetry. Um, I went through love, as we all do, first love, and the experiences of falling in love. And then I went through a marriage, and then a divorce, and then the process of growth. And so I wrote this book to encourage others who may be going through those phases, love, marriage, divorce, and growth. It's available on all major retailers online, and it's also available on my website, sblairwritings.com. So why did I write this book? Because I wanted to share my story and also provide inspiration and encouragement for those of you who may be going through those processes in life. The most challenging aspect of writing this book was, of course, being vulnerable and presenting an authentic story through the poetry. Writing can often be a spiritual thing. And for me, I found the process of writing the poems to be very cathartic. It allowed me to release any pain and let go of any hurt. And so I wanted to be able to share those in poetry with others as well. My advice for any new authors is don't be afraid to explore your creative space. If you've got a story to tell and you feel that someone else can learn or grow from your experiences, then absolutely do so. Put pen to paper and start writing. You don't know whose life you can change with your story. Okay, I often get the question, why did I choose this book cover? So I'll hold it up to the camera. And as you can see from my book cover, it's very much inspired by nature. And the reason I chose this cover is because the image of the tree growing out of the lake represents growth. In every aspect and stage in life, we are always going to be able to learn a lesson for our personal growth. So whether it's experiencing first love or going through a marriage or a divorce, there's always an aspect of self-reflection and growth. There are lessons that we can learn to move forward. So that's why I chose this book cover here. I love nature and I'm often inspired by nature in my poetry. I do have a book signing event coming up soon on February the 7th. For those of you who are interested and want to learn more about poetry writing, you can register at sblaireventbrite.com. That's going to be happening on February the 7th, a Sunday at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So I'm in Canada, so that's probably in the evening for any of you guys who are in the UK. So 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, February the 7th. I'll be signing personalized messages for those who purchase a copy of my book through my website. So let's jump into the different phases of the book. It starts off with love. And love in the beginning is very beautiful. You've got giddiness, you're energized, there's butterflies in your stomach. And so one of the poems to capture that feeling is called Stirrings of First Love. The unexpected, giddiness that energizes my limbs. is a persistent distraction from the completion of mundane tasks. What is this feeling? Reckless desire I have never encountered, yet so familiar, has stolen my focus and snared my thoughts. Have we met before? Has karma surfaced to rejoin past souls? To where will this lead, I wonder? Is this what I think it is? My questions overwhelm in an attempt to make sense of the effervescence cascade of emotions, shattering and reshaping my world. In wonder, I am stunned, blindsided by love. So that's just one of the 27 poems in the book, highlighting how love can be so beautiful in the beginning and giddy and exciting, and you've got butterflies. Another poem that I've been asked about is in the section of marriage. And I always get the question, what is the difference between love in marriage and love in the beginning? And I often say to people, in the beginning, you're falling in love, you're experiencing the fall of love. But marriage is about commitment, it has a certain maturity. And this poem highlights that. When I think of you, I melt. Warmth spreads throughout. United, our commitment leaves no doubt. Our life together makes me proud. A wife to you, a mother to be, your safe place in times of need. You are a husband whose care and love shines. We'll be friends always, lovers throughout time. It is an honor to claim you as you have done I, through the good times, the bad times, and in between. We extend love, respect, and trust to each. That poem is entitled Our Commitment. The next section of my book is the divorce section, and it reflects poems that talk about the conflict of a divorce. Oftentimes, divorces can be messy and painful, but there are lessons to be learned and opportunities for growth. I'll read just a little bit of one of the poems called Skeletons. We all have skeletons that remind us. We all have skeletons that haunt us. When I take the time to take stock of my life, I can find myself mourning old friendships, too superficial to hold any substance worth lasting. Memories of laughter fade under the hurt and confusion, loyalty turning to betrayal and bitterness, left wounds too deep to mend. You were my friend, or were you ever? So I'll leave it there with Skeletons. I'd encourage you guys to get a copy of the book so that you can read the rest and reflect on the words. The last section of my book focuses on growth. And again, growth is the theme that ties each of these phases together. You learn lessons when you're falling in love. There are life lessons to be learned in a marriage and also through a divorce. So growth is my reflection piece. And this is one of my favorite poems called Letting Go. I let go to allow room for new growth. In spring, under an exuberant sun, leaves bloom on fertile, deciduous trees after a stark winter's cold caress. Like those same leaves, my heart blossoms to a new season. That's letting go. So I hope you guys have enjoyed hearing a bit more about my poetry anthology, Love, Marriage, Divorce, and Growth, Please join me on February 7th at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time to discuss this a bit more. Get your personalized autographed copy of my book on sblairwritings.com and find me on Twitter and Instagram at Blair Shemique. Thank you for taking the time to listen to me.